pretty willing to swap roles, and you're going to see that composition yet again. So it's Sage, Brim, Breach, Cypher, and Phoenix coming in from forZe, despite the fact that it didn't work so well for them yesterday.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm interested about, but I'll have to put that on pause, is Crazy Dare tries to peek in through the showers, and he's going to find himself on the return end of a couple of bullets. A headshot, to be in fact, is now Impala. Gets a little bit more involved. It's the Frenzy that'll mow him down, and it looks like it's going to be the B push. Coffee trying to throw the curveball out, but ends up with just another shot from Foda, and it'll be the plant here now for Need More DM. And quite honestly, a great start, but of course it is the pistol, so many more rounds, of course, still remain. And now it has come to the retake here for forZe. They're 3 stacking towards labs. Smokes are going to start to go down, but they're playing quite closer than anticipated, as they'll now start to divide and conquer. A few going to funnel in through elbow, or at least use some of that utility. The flash there is available, but it's unfortunate as the attacker prepared there with the crossfires just down to Zeddy now. They'll peek in through the window of Hookah, and BZT will find that frag. And one of the things that I really wanted to touch on was in that previous map on Ascent, Coffee, he played Raze. Zeddy, of course, he played Omen. And Koyan, he played Sova. I think Sova can be so detrimental on a map like this, gathering information, Hunter's Fury through Hookah, or Hunter's Fury through showers. You can get so many straight angle lineups and even end up with revealing some of the opposition or taking away some frags. But I wonder why forZe are sticking to this 5 as their decided quote unquote agent selection for buying. Why not mix it up? Why not bring in the Omen like you were saying earlier? And in the case of Raze, in some cases, Raze feels a little bit better than Phoenix, but I understand the need for the flash and for some of that utility.
Well, so that's the thing, right? They have dual flash meta right now on forZe. They don't have a single flash on Need More DM. I'm kind of curious how that's going to play out across this entire map. Again, maybe it's just me favoring that Omen because of how powerful I've seen him played out at various levels of play. Barcode opens things up. Tigane and Foda also there with kills of their own. BZT is going to get one more, only 1 kill currently for the side of forZe, as Need More DM get a follow-up round of the pistol that produces similar levels of success. It's down to Zeddy as the breach in spawn, and he'll get gunned down by Crazy Deer with the Bulldog. The first 2 rounds seem somewhat easy for Need More DM. This is where we'll see a little bit of resistance put up by forZe as the full buy round will be coming in. But we've talked about it, it's an interesting composition from forZe, but the same could be said for Need More DM. I would love to see that Omen. I would love to see the Omen play. I just feel like Omen's a little bit stronger than Breach with the way the game has been kind of shaping up. But then on the same coin, if you want to go for that 3-smoke A execute, which has become standard to the meta, 3 smokes, 2 on the APC and 1 in the gap, plus a Sage Wall, it's like the easiest way to gain control of a site. It's pretty much the vanilla strat. It's the default. You're going to want that Brim, obviously, because you can't pull that off with an Omen. It's not as easy. You can only do 2 smokes, and they're not necessarily as good.
Uh-oh. Coffee's in a little bit of a difficult spot and will not win the gun duel up against Tigane. And it's not looking so good right now for forZe. They're down to 3. It's 5 members strong for Need More DM, and they're just confidently pushing onto these sites. Like, these takes are so confident. Yes, we're only 3 rounds in, and there's still a lot more to go. But think about the demeanor that they are proposing for not only the pistol, not only the second buy, but also the gun round, and how forZe are like, okay, you know what? Let's just save. Like, imagine what you have to do to a team to make them save on round 3. Like, that is crazy to me. So they'll get that spike down. We'll see if forZe decides to answer, but to be honest, I think not.
We were talking about it just a second ago, that 3-smoke Sage Wall execute on A. We haven't actually seen Need More DM go A yet. They've put all of their pressure over towards B, and I'm kind of curious how long they're going to continue to hammer it into this B site before finally changing things up. If they continue to get onto the site as easily as they have, it might be until forZe finally stops it. We'll see what ends up being the case. 3 players currently saving Brim, Breach, and Sage. And they're all just sitting over on the A site hoping that someone doesn't come hunting. They are on their way, looking for them currently. The Breach will be the first to make contact. That's Zeddy, who's in U-Haul right now, just holding down this position. Jiggle peeking for the intel. Almost gets taken out by the Bulldog. He's on 2 HP, hoping to get some support. They're moving in closer and closer, but not close enough. So the guns will move into the next round here for forZe, but they're going to need to find a better solution to the defense on this B site, because as of right now, things aren't working. And off the bat, it looks like they're going to go with maybe a full stack towards B. all 5 players potentially. No, the Sage going back towards heaven. So they're playing a 4-player defense towards this B site. Coleon's going to go down to the Judge as well. Probably going to go up in more towards Hookah to do some additional damage with that shotgun at point blank range.
You know, I don't exactly recall who I was talking about this with yesterday, but there was a team yesterday that was just constantly saving weaponry. And if it was forZe, then we're going to see some similar, you know, takes or similar rounds than what we saw yesterday, where if they're losing quite poorly, they'll just, you know, they'll just save the weaponry. And in some case, at some point, you have to get involved. I know that they're trying to keep it a little bit closer. We're seeing a couple of those members that weren't able to buy themselves some maybe less than satisfactory weaponry. It's the Judge from Coleon, but quite honestly, he's in the most optimal position for the Judge, and he does see somebody. It's the headshot onto Foda. But as I get excited, Judge kills are never that impressive, and the rest of the team here are likely going to back away from Hookah. Don't want anything to deal with it. And now the rest of the team might look to rotate over towards A. They've got 40 seconds left on the clock, and it's Need More DM still interested in this idea, but it's a bigger stack in Hookah.
I like this rededication towards the B site, but they've still got to deal with both the Cypher and the Brim after picking off the Phoenix. Now the Breach is there with some support. They're taking a lot of time to get out on this site, but they continue to find these picks. Coleon still in position with this Judge, finally taken out. What a nuisance he's been. Impala in the corner, finds 2 actually, and it comes down to a 1v1, and it looks like Brim's going to potentially take that portal and run towards the A site, but I don't think he has time, so he's realizing he has to go back towards the B site. The ult's going to get popped. Smart 7 flushed out of position. Yikes. Down to the last couple of seconds in the round. Crazy Deer finds 4 on the take. Even when it doesn't look good, it still works out well for Need More DM.
The last time you and I casted some European Valorant, it was the G2 eSports Invitational, and I was thoroughly impressed with the Sages that we had. And of course, I've been quite spoiled watching Happy boost himself up and try to get control of mid, whatever map that he's on.
David P, yeah.
Yeah, or David P as well. But now I'm thinking that there's some crazy brimstones as well. The use of the orbital strike, it's often in an A put on the duty of like, okay, we got the spike down, just press your ultimate when they're trying to defuse the spike. But I've seen some pretty aggressive orbital strikes so far, and we're only in day 2 of the WePlay Invitational. And gotta tip my hat over to the Crazy Deer, because any wrong angle on that orbital strike, and Smart 7 would have escaped, right? Just even a slightly to the left, slightly up, slightly right, whatever you know was incorrect about that positioning, Smart 7 would have escaped and likely taken out Crazy Deer. So that was a close one, and now we are, of course, in round number 5.
We've seen some really good zoning ults as well, like ulting right in front of Heaven on the A site, so the player in Heaven can't necessarily escape or defend because the vision's obscured by the flames that are just towering into the sky. They're going for an A take. For the first time we've seen an A take here coming in from Need More DM. Shock darts into Heaven, not producing any damage. The target was just a little bit too far away. But some of the defense is a little bit scratched up. Finally, it's going to be BZT that dispatches of 2 as Coffee and Smart 7 both fall. Zeddy is in position, but it's actually going to be Coleon that goes down through the wall. And it comes down to now Zeddy and the Cypher, the Rez coming in as well, bringing things back to full strength. Impala with the Operator. Too far disconnected from the play, back in spawn, looking for a way to save an avenue to try and keep this op into the next round. We'll get that first pick off, has a chance for a second. He's just going to keep on moving forward. Crazy Deer wants this one. He scratched him up pretty heavily. He puts him on to 67 HP, and now the pinch is on as well, as you've got Foda on the back end of the play.
Yeah, there's still 3 that are going to try to hunt him down. That spike has enough time to blow, but it's unfortunate that it's BZT has to push forward, and it's the spike that'll end his life. But the rest of the 2 members trying to collect the Operator, but he's on the run, and he's got to keep running. Don't look back. And still, it's forZe that have yet to put another round on the board. They're still trying. They're doing their best, but it's been Need More DM that have felt quite comfortable in their own skin on Bind. And I mean, we saw a little bit of that yesterday, but really not to the same effect when they, of course, faced up against, sorry, was it Party Parrots?
Party Parrots, yeah.
But Party Parrots, they felt a lot more comfortable on Bind, right? The scoreline was 13-6, and so for a round like this, or for a map like this, it looks like the tables really have turned.
I like this aggressive look coming out from forZe. Surprised that Coffee didn't go for the ult pop on that, the run it back. Impala is now on the site alone with an operator. Going to see the top of the skull. FOTA easily taken out by the operator. So now there's only 3 remaining here for Need More DM. They do get orb control over on long. The Molly's going to go into sight as well. It's right on Impala's back, but it doesn't make a difference. Impala hits the quick shot. Can't get the follow-up onto BZT, but the numbers game heavily favoring the defense right now. Now, you still got this showstopper for the Rays, and they're actually going to be going back towards the A site through the portal. Smart 7 is in the perfect position for this one. Pushed up in the showers with the Stinger, likely to get both. Unlikely they're going to clear this one. As they come around the corner, though, you can see them checking all angles, but it doesn't make a difference. Dink shot comes out. BZT on very low HP, has to run as the mollies land right in front of him, and now it's potentially save time for BZT as he's got an operator in 8 HP.
Coffee going to try to see if there's a rotation in through a short, but it's BZT that wants none of that. 8 HP and likely going to be... You know what? Quite honestly, I don't think forZe is going to hunt him down. They don't want anyone to lose a weapon now at this point. They're so far down in the rounds. Of course, this is the first round that they'll put on the board, but really kind of an awkward one for both sides, I quite think. The defense had an early push in through the portal, and I think, quite honestly, why Coffee didn't end up using the ultimate is because he had his team with him, right? There was a quick trade if needed be, but fortunately for forZe, that didn't need to happen. And so now that ult is saved, and they could use that strategy for later. But quite honestly, we've seen that a lot. Phoenix is just running in through the portal, trying to find a couple of early picks. Rarely have we seen Phoenix's jump in through connector and try to find picks on B short. So I wonder if that adaptation might come in from Coffee, because he's played hookah quite aggressively. But we've hardly seen Coffee on that A side, at least for the rounds that we've seen so far.
And here goes that Satchel play that we've seen from BZT a couple of times there. Satchel boosting with the operator to get into an aggressive position. Doesn't work out initially. Here's Coffee going for the ult pop. Spotted out pretty quickly. Impala's there with the backup, and Impala's actually going to find 2. We talked about it yesterday. Impala's op felt somewhat lackluster. It lacked the shine of some of the other oppers that we've seen in this event thus far. And he's starting to showcase what he can do with it. Yeah, sure, his Marshall was great yesterday, but his op is finally starting to spool up a bit. And it will be now a 5-on-3. Now a 5-on-2 favoring the defense.
Oh my goodness. How many ops are there? How many ops are there? It seems like everyone and their mother has an operator. But it does look like it's starting to fall apart here for the attack. Koyan, he's going to find the last 2 frags as they were setting up for the default A plant behind the truck. And the defense, forZe specifically, starting to lay some rounds back on. But, you know, I start to wonder if it's too little too late. You know, we did see, I do believe it was Need More DM on Haven that started off with a 6-0 on Haven. And it's really started to slip away from them once Party Parrots started to come online. And that might be the case here for forZe. Yes, they might not be the most comfortable on Bind, but maybe some adaptations will start to come through as they get a little bit more comfortable facing off against their opponent.
There's the Rolling Thunder going towards short. They got to be careful as the showstopper has been popped here. It's not going to work out so well for BZT. Everything they had thrown at the Rays to prevent that ult from producing success, and it works. The Neural Theft is going to be popped here. Zeddy right around the corner actually somewhat hit the target midair with the flashpoint. Obviously, no damage dealt. It goes straight through. But it does come down to a 3-on-2. Need More DM back into the round with an advantage as it now falls onto 1. And who else would you want other than Impala? First shot right on the money. The opposing Cypher ripped from the world, as Impala's now got 2 targets right around the corner. Peeks after getting spotted by the dart from the Owl drone. FOTA is there with the quick response. Won't even let him chamber a next round. 6 on the board for Need More DM, and it's an expensive round, but it's another one on the board, and they've now hit 6. So at this point, if they continue to operate in similar fashion, they'll find themselves with a heaping helping into the second half.
Okay, so I've got 2 things to talk about. Number 1, how much importance forZe are relying on this double op play. We've seen it before, but quite honestly, I don't think we've seen it enough. The operator alongside the judge they're probably the 2 strongest, hottest weapons right now to really lay on some damage. Of course, though, the judge does not do that well at long distance, and that's why usually you'll see some Judge Jetty play really getting involved. But you know, quite honestly, from that taker there on the A site, I don't know why they didn't clear showers. They just let Barcode walk in and get 2 free frags, and then from there it was all just down to Impala. And yes, maybe he could have won the 1v2, but it's very difficult playing with the operator at close range. So moving on to this round at hand, though, already a pick for Need More DM that might open up the look towards the A site. And as the smokes will likely go down shortly, they will look to push in.
Dart's going to spot Smart7, who's in sight. That not really working out so well for him. Colion going through the smoke in heaven, actually taken down by Foda, who manages to spot him before he can sneak away. Coffee around the corner, able to take out Crazy Deer, and it's a 3-on-2 as the spike gets planted. The res going to come in as well onto the Cypher, but there's Impala. The peak just too wide. Too many targets, not much that could be done there. It all falls onto the Phoenix. Coffee starting to wake up just a bit, as it's now a 1-on-2. Gonna go for the self-heal, the hot hands on the ground. Camera spotting out his position, but he continues to hang back. There's 2 to his left. Currently jiggle peeking is the Sage, looking for the intel. I like this setup right now from the attack. They're playing this one brilliantly, but it's not working out so well. It's now a 1-on-1. Got a little bit scary, but again, these rounds, it doesn't matter how expensive they might be for Need More DM, because they've already reached critical mass.
Yeah, and for the opposite side, forZe, they walked into that round with 2 operators, as I touched on at the beginning of the round, and now they're going to be coming up empty-handed. Yes, you made it expensive, but these rounds are starting to near the end, and you just forced up on operators for 2 of your members. And I think one of them had light armor. It was Smart7 that could not afford the whole package, and so he had to get the basic edition. And now they are able to put some weapons together, but they're really down and out for credits. But if you look at the attack, they're not doing so hot either. Yes, they're rolling in the dough, but it's not been as great as we suspected.
Back to the B site for Need More DM. It's where they found their most success, and not only that, it's where the rounds were really easy, it seemed at times. Not really encountering much resistance. The friction on B, certainly not there, and you can see exactly what we're talking about. Smart7 goes down quite quickly.
Wow.
Impala through the cyber cage. Feels like at times he's the only player in the server currently for forZe. But speaking of only player in the server, it comes down to Colion, the last one alive. Barcode's right around the corner, and the timing works out oh so nicely for them. Need More DM have managed to push into that B site over and over and over again. The defense is porous. It's like volcanic rock at this point, littered with holes as they continue to just exploit the weak defense on that side of the map, and forZe does not have a solution. The only time they've really been able to find success on that B site was by stacking like 4 people on defense on the B site early on, and even then those rounds weren't exactly easy to win.
Yeah, and how do you read Need More DM? Like, how do you read an opposition that's going to just either 5 stack towards B or 5 stack towards A? We're seeing forZe play a little bit more aggressively, but quite honestly, this is a desperate call. They've got Spectres, they've got Stingers. Coffee's going to find Barcode, which is at least a great start, but you get a face full of Operator on the opposite side, and there's still going to be another one that comes out from BZT. Smart7 will get the refrag. That's going to be the resurrection as well, but at this point, you're saying to yourself, okay, we got all this great stuff, we got some picks, but they've got the B site, they're going to have that spike down, and what's next? But if you look at the attack, Tigane, he's got a Spectre. They don't have the most ideal buy either, and so this might be a close round here for forZe.
I mean, you said it, they've got Spectres, they've got Stingers, but forZe, they deliver. Off the early aggression, it works out nicely. The run it back going to be pumped by the Phoenix. They're going to start working their way onto the site, but you've got Tigane waiting right around the corner with the SMG, and they jump through the smoke after they break through the ice wall. The molly is too deep, so Tigane can continue to stay in this position. Tries to swing wide anyway. What am I watching? How does he survive that long in that exchange? It was just a flurry of bullets in both directions. To be fair, I believe that was a stinger for the Sage on the other side, so it wasn't exactly ideal hardware for a long-range battle. So many shots, it was like getting pelted by paintballs. Eventually dropped down to 13 HP before closing out the round. 9 now on the board for forZe, a potential for double digits in the first half.
I saw Smart7 there playing around with the idea of having the operator, but he had not enough credits for even light armor. He was down to 100, and his team desperately needs the Sage utility. So as selfish as they want to be with these ops, it hasn't really been working out. It has been working out for Impala, but Smart7 stick to the utility, stick to playing close, stick to the Phantom, and don't give your team too much of a headache moving into some of these next rounds. But we are, of course, in the last and final round and need more DM. If they enter double digits, the pistol's going to be the most important round for forZe.
Smart 7 on B with the Phoenix by his side. There's the ult pop. See you later. Not much you can do about that one. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The Phoenix is currently sent to the wayside. Sage still in position. Doesn't even really get an opportunity to fire. FOTA is just too quick. And there's the res coming out. So yet again, we see that advantage taken away. But as I say that, Kolyan somehow gets the molly kill. So as the res comes through, the Flames gonna take down his opponent. It's a 4-on-3. They've got the neural theft as they try to get in towards the site.
Oh, like clockwork there for Zeddy. The red carpet going to be rolled out, but who's going to be waiting on the opposite side? It's Need More DM, now just down to Impala, and the neural theft will likely spot him out, so they're going to be waiting on the opposite side of this ice wall, and it's none other than FOTA that's trying to take him out, and it's a quick hop, skip, jump for the Sova, and he will meet his mark. Impala will fall, and it's a 10-2 scoreline for Need More DM. And so now the pistol going to be the most important round for forZe. If they lose this, they potentially lose the match.
Here.
Outside of Impala, it does feel like this has been incredibly disappointing from forZe. Again, their bind yesterday wasn't fantastic, but it was better than this. Hopefully they can manage to turn things around as they swap sides. But this is absolutely abysmal from them after picking up that first map. I mean, it seems pretty obvious at this point that we're going into map 3. 10-2 first half. Need More DM just consistently exploited B. And then once they started overstacking that, started going towards the A site. And that's when we saw forZe at least find a round or two, literally. But it wasn't anywhere near what they should have done in that first half. So now they swap sides. And I love the approach here. Barcode's going to get aggressive in mid, and he's pushed down all the way into this corner. Sup. Impala comes around the corner. It's basically a free kill.
You know, we saw Angel in some of those positions yesterday, and so now Barcode kind of taking a page out of his book. And quite honestly, that is a great page to take. If you can find yourself in a position that the opponent doesn't really expect, you will net yourself frag after frag. Crazy Deer going to try to set the hookah ablaze, and so far no one's gonna feel the heat, but it's Barcode that turns up the Bunsen burner, smokes them all alive. 3 kills for him, but it's a great opportunity for forZe to find some refrags. 2v2 now between the attack and the defense, and they're gonna start to funnel in towards that A site.
I like this read coming in from forZe to run all the way back around through the wishbone over towards the A site. Got Sova up in heaven. The Brim currently over on B. So at this point, they're kicking it through the uprights. As you can see, it's field goal posts coming out for the defense, separated by great distance. So FOTA has to come up big, but look at the clock. The time is an absolute problem, so they're going to go for the smoke. All he has to do is drop the spike if he can somehow find a way. It's the Sage Wall, though, for the shower plant. So they actually managed to get a successful plant, and Brim, rather than taking the port, is coming through spawn to double up their efforts, so they don't have to worry about the flank. Both players going to be coming in from the same location.
Honestly, for FOTA there, it's RNG if he lands his shot or not. He has to guess where they're going to plant the spike. And when there's a smoke, there's a certain area of surface, obviously, that he's not going to be able to find out where the hell is that thing planted. But of course, I forgot to mention that there's also a wall in the way, and pistols, they do very little damage, but it's just down to the 1v2. FOTA finding a shot early, and they'll fight through the smoke. It's Crazy Deer that finds Smart 7, and it's a round for Need More DM. And like I said, if they win the pistol, they potentially win the match. They've definitely won the pistol here now, and so now moving on into the next round, they'll likely have SMGs. The question now becomes, does forZe force up, no pun intended, but do they force up, do they buy and force their opposition into, you know, a position where they can't expect or they won't expect the weaponry, the level of weaponry, or do they stay at pistols and risk match point when they've got the Vandals and the Phantoms?
I mean, that's how things started with Barcode pushed all the way up through mid, but look at that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Barcode through the box getting 2 in a row. First one Shot to the skull, the follow-up, clipping through the box and dispatching of that third target. The defense gonna 3-stack over towards the A site. Aldrone going towards mid. Not gonna spot anything. It does look like it's gonna be a pretty heavy showers push. We might see the wall plant yet again, where you get up close and you just throw that close wall down and try and get the plant across. They're gonna try and work their way through. Shots coming out from the Marshall, not connecting. There's the Bomb Buddy spotting the targets as they push their way forwards. Foda with the SMG, able to get another quick kill, and it comes down to 2. It's the Breach and the Sova getting closer towards Foda. This is actually working out well a little bit for forZe as they brought it down to a 2-on-2, or 2-on-3, excuse me. But they haven't managed to get that spike down yet. The no-scopes from BCT not working out so well. There you go, finally. Just that fast fire rate. Shot after shot after shot after shot coming out from the Marshall. 12 rounds now for forZe, or for Need More DM, excuse me, as forZe would have to win 10 in a row just to force overtime, and then would have to win 2 in a row in overtime to win. An outcome that seems incredibly unlikely.
Yeah, they also just forced up there. They had...
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, when you're in a position like this, you're down and out, you really gotta try to make your ends meet, and those ends are as far apart as possible here for forZe. They're trying their best, listen, and they're chugging along, but that train's running out of steam and running out of steam fast. Of course, the last map of this best of 3 will be taken to split, and that's a fun one. It's been obviously a highly contested map since the beta has been released. A lot of changes have made it a lot more bearable, I feel, for the attacker side, but still, when we get there, we will get there. So far on Bind, potentially the last and final round that we will get to witness on this map, and it's looking like forZe are ready for a push towards B.
They're moving closer and closer, and that slow orb could not have come in at a better time. Oh, Zeddy's going to have a hard time escaping the damage. Drop down to 77 as the Molly inside the ice does significant damage. Again, that fire and ice approach can be very punishing. So here comes the attempted push. You've got Barcode currently sitting in cubby. Doesn't have a choice, has to peek. Somehow gets 2 as the dazed effect from the breach slowly dissipates towards the tail end of that fight. You've got a 2-on-3. The flame wall is going to go up inside the tuna can. Shock dart in. It's enough. Coffee's taken out. And it's down to just a 2-on-2 as Foda and the Rays, BZT, try to get back into sight. There's one in hookah and one towards long. Now the positions have been spotted out here for Foda. Dodging the dart from the camera initially, able to survive inside the tuna can, and there it is. 13-2. Need More DM absolutely obliterate forZe.
Wow. And Foda, just off the top there, a couple of style points for him. You know, there's a lot to unpackage. There's a lot to discuss, but Need More DM, they will win fine.